Being a well-known singer and an actress on a Hollywood soap opera might not be your typical route to launch somebody on a spiritual journey. But that's exactly the story of Gloria Loring, who's our guest today, with Lynn and I on Woe. Welcome, Gloria.
I think that everything we need and everything that we're supposed to be in touch with is very close by, and that we are a participant in the unfolding of our journey. I've used my own life as evidence for how coincidence can lead us to what is perfect for us. You know, my journey won't be perfect for you or for someone else. Coincidence will lead us, I think, I believe, I feel, where we need to be. And sometimes it's difficult, and we can't understand that at this human level because we don't have a big enough vision of our life. Haven't you seen that you've looked back on a relationship and you thought at the time, well, that served no purpose, and then you can see that it helped you grow in some way. So that's what my book is about. How do I manifest this understanding, this wisdom in my daily life? And so it's that little formula, I call them the 4Ds. I have the 4 Is in the book, but I've now created the 4Ds, which is determine if it has a message for you. Does it stay with you? Does it nag at you? Discover if there's a pattern here. Is this something keeps coming up? Define the message by asking yourself, what is this coincidence? What is this intuition asking me to do, guiding me toward? And then take a chance. Follow it. Do it. Explore it. Start to see this continuum of growth to the next thing, the next opportunity. And that's what I love sharing with people. When a coincidence gets your attention, you know, something that you can determine if it has a message for you. I mean, does it kind of get under your skin? Does it nag at you? Does it keep coming around in your mind? You keep thinking, well, I can't believe I ran into so-and-so or whatever. And then you can discover if this is part of a pattern. Do you keep attracting certain kinds of people? Are there clues? Are there other people and events that have come into your life that are just like this, seem to be giving you the same message again and again? Because my friend Shirley, who I talk about in the book, who sent me the
love
letters
Shirley.
from God,
Fabulous story.
It's chapter 4. She's the best. Shirley said, you know, she says, God will keep bringing an issue to the surface like a bobber on the fishing line. Well, God is part of our psyche, is part of our, you know, you don't have to have a faith path. That's what I wanted to do. For those who have a faith path and are dearly devoted to it, oh, how wonderful. Now we can even look for more evidence of the working of that magnificent love and creation and presence in our lives. But for those of us who maybe haven't gotten that far yet, to have a particular form for that understanding, we can start to have what I call evidence-based living. So the evidence comes into our lives. A coincidence gets our attentions, and determine if it has a message. Number 2, discover, is it part of a pattern? Are there other clues for you? And then see if you can define its meaning for you. And that may be now you have to get to the deeper work, the contemplative work. And you actually stop and say, what is this asking of me? What is this guiding me toward? Because very often some of the difficult coincidences may be offering us an opportunity to heal a long ago, far away wound that is still present. It may be asking more patience, more love, more kindness, more forgiveness. You know, I tell a story in my book about Lauren, who's my Pilates instructor. And when she was a much younger girl, she was still going to school, she was dropped off at the bus stop, and she had about a half-a-mile walk to her mom's ballet dance studio. And she started walking, took a shortcut through the woods, and there was a pack of dogs that started going for her. And they backed her up against a tree, and they were snarling. And she thought, oh, my God, I'm going to die here. Suddenly, her grandmother drove up in the car, jumped out of the car, had her apron on, and flour all over her hands, and shooed the dogs away and beat the horn and all of that. And Lauren said, Grandma, how did you know to come and get me? And she said, I just was making bread, and I knew that you needed me. I loved the idea of, in my book, combining scientific observation and spiritual understanding. And spiritual understanding from all the major spiritual outlooks. You know, it's everywhere. It's in the Bible. You know, when something happens that we've had a premonition about, I think it's Ecclesiastes said, there is not a thing that exists now that has not already been. Huh? Now that sounds like a New Age idea. Excuse me, it's in the Bible. When I was a kid, nobody ever said, oh, God's within you. It was always, oh, you're sinful, you're this, you're separated from,
Right,
the
this
only
presence
way.
up there.
Yeah, it's out there, and
Mm-hmm.
I got that guy sitting on a throne with a big beard and pointing and saying, "You're, tornado here." And I kept reading. I read about other religions, and I went, "Wow, well, this Baha'i, what they say in the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah, sounds just like what Jesus said, and gee, Krishna sounds just like Jesus, and Jesus sounds just like Buddha, and and I started to say, wow, there's this wonderful continuum, continuity of understanding of big core issues. Wow, this is not New Age stuff. What we're doing is we're going back and we're trying to bring the great wisdom that has lasted for thousands of years into our everyday lives. We are connected to what we need to know and what we need to grow to the next level. And I know now at this stage of my life, I've got more growth than ever. I had to start listening because this voice kept popping up inside me. And it was a voice that would tell me things that didn't sound like me at all. Like when I was going through my divorce from Alan Thicke, the writer and actor, and he is, of course,
mother of Robin Thicke, I should say.
He is father, and I am mother to R&B star Robin Thicke, Mr. Cool, and Brennan Thicke, my gorgeous older son. And when I was going through that, and I had always called, I tell the story in the book, I had always called Alan after every performance to just check in, have somebody to talk to, how'd the show go, etc. And because we were now separated, and I can't call him. And I went to pick up the phone in my hotel room to call somebody, anybody. And a voice in my head said, don't be afraid of the silence. Now, that is not a thing that Gloria Loring at that point in her life said to herself. If the one who created us dwells within, if that spark of divinity is within us, then that spark of wisdom and greatness and magnificence may occasionally pipe up in there. We call it the still small voice. Well, when we sit to listen, when we ask a question and we listen for an answer, if we say, tell me what I should do about this, and then we listen, people tuning into their own wisdom, their own meaning the one that's right for them because it dwells within them in the form of the Most High, the highest human values, the highest divine values. It is always there speaking to us. But we can understand it in a practical daily way. It doesn't have to be etheric. It doesn't have to be out there. It doesn't have to seem New Age. It's always been here. It is ours to access. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin says, not everything is immediately good, but everything is capable of becoming good. We can find the good in the most horrific circumstances because we can extend ourselves, our heart.
We would love to have Gloria back. As I said, a born teacher, and it's been a pleasure and an honor hearing from you, learning. Thanks so much for being part of WOA, Gloria.